So you've heard all the buzzwords, right? Web3, crypto, NFTs, it's a lot. But what does it actually mean for you? Well, today we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're laying out a simple roadmap to help you navigate this new digital economy and, maybe find some real opportunities inside. This really nails it. We're at a huge turning point. See, Web3 isn't just another update, it's a complete shift in how we use the internet, and more importantly, how we own pieces of it. Think back to the early days of the dot-com boom. It's kind of like that. We're going from an internet that just connects us to one that actually gives us control. So what's the big deal here? Honestly, it all boils down to one simple word: ownership. In Web2, which is the internet we use every day, big platforms, Facebook, YouTube, they own your content. They profit from your data. You're basically the product. Web3 completely flips that script. It's built from the ground up to make you the owner. It's your data, your identity, your digital stuff, and you don't need permission from some giant corporation to use it. Okay, so to get around in this new world, you're going to need a map. And in Web3, that map is the blockchain. This is the core technology that makes this whole individual ownership thing possible. So let's talk about how this shared notebook actually works. For just a second, let's forget all the complicated tech talk. The absolute easiest way to think about the blockchain is like a shared digital notebook. Every single time a transaction happens, a new entry gets made. And here's the cool part. Everyone on the network can see that notebook, but because of the way it's built, nobody can go back and secretly change or delete anything that's already been written. This creates a system where you can actually trust the record without needing a middleman. So how does this shared notebook stay so secure? Let's just walk through a quick example. Let's say you want to buy a piece of digital art, an NFT. Step 1, your request gets sent out to this huge global network of computers. Then all these computers work together to check and make sure your transaction is legit. Once they all agree, your purchase gets bundled into a new block and it's added to the chain forever. It creates this permanent, public, and super secure record of your ownership. And really, it all comes down to these three things, the three pillars that make blockchains so powerful. First, it's transparent. Anyone can look at the records. Second, it's immutable, which is just a fancy way of saying the records are permanent. They can't be changed. And third, it's unbelievably secure because of some really strong cryptography. All three of these together create a system where we can trust each other and make deals without needing a bank or a government to oversee everything. All right, now that we have our map, let's look at some of the destinations. When you look at Web3, you'll see there are really three main paths where people are creating value, and yes, building wealth. The whole landscape can feel, a little overwhelming at first, but it gets a lot simpler when you realize it's mostly focused on these three core areas: cryptocurrency, NFTs, and the Metaverse. Let's break this down. First, you've got cryptocurrency. That's the new digital money that basically fuels this whole new economy. Then there are NFTs, which are all about proving you own a unique digital item. This is a game changer for creators and collectors. And finally, you have the Metaverse. That's the new digital world where all this stuff comes together. It's a virtual place where you can build, hang out, and create. Each one offers a totally different way to get involved. Now, if you're wondering if there's any real-world value here, just think about this for a second. A single piece of digital art, an NFT, sold for $69 million. This wasn't just some crazy sale. It was a huge statement. It proved that digital ownership is a real market with absolutely massive potential, and it puts the power and the profit right back into the hands of the people who create. And the Metaverse, it's not just some video game. It's a real, functioning economy. I mean, people are earning actual income by buying and selling virtual land, by playing games that literally reward them with crypto, by designing digital clothes for avatars. They're even hosting virtual concerts in there. It's a whole new frontier for digital entrepreneurs. Okay, I know this all sounds really exciting, but the big question is, how do you actually get started? Well, the good news is that taking your first steps is way easier than you probably think. Here's a super simple plan to get you on the trail. It really just comes down to 3 easy steps. First, get yourself a digital wallet like MetaMask. Think of it like your passport for Web3. Second, use a trusted exchange to buy just a small amount of crypto to put in it. Seriously, you can start with like $20. And third, just pick one of those paths we talked about, crypto, NFTs, or the Metaverse, and just start exploring. The key here isn't to get rich overnight. It's to start small and just focus on learning. Now look, just like any new frontier, this one has its share of dangers. As you start to get digital assets, you have to know how to protect your treasure. Because out here, security is 100% in your hands. This is the one question you have to keep asking yourself. In Web3, you have total control, and that's incredibly empowering. But it also means you are completely responsible for your own security. There's no customer service line you can call if you mess up. You are your own bank. So you need to know about the common traps. You've got phishing attacks, which are fake websites designed to trick you into giving up your info. There are rug pulls, where a project's developers just disappear with everyone's money. And then there are pump and dump schemes, where scammers create a bunch of fake hype online to drive up a price, only to sell everything and crash the value. Learning to spot these red flags is absolutely critical. And please, if you take away only one single thing about security, let it be this. When you set up your wallet, it's going to give you a secret recovery phrase. This phrase is the master key to your entire digital vault. Write it down, store it somewhere safe where it's not connected to the internet, and never, ever share it with anyone for any reason. Ever. So the big takeaway here is this. Web3 isn't some science fiction idea that's coming in the distant future. It is happening right now. The tools are here, the communities are growing every day, and the opportunities are open to literally anyone with an internet connection. And that really brings us to the final question you have to ask yourself. This new digital world is being built as we speak. You can choose to just be a visitor, watching from the sidelines like we did on the old internet. Or you can choose to be an owner, to participate, to create, and to actually hold a stake in what the internet becomes. The choice is yours.